Welcome everyone to another broadcast of the Judge Hubert Radio Hour on the ArtistFirst Radio Network. All past broadcasts are podcasts. Find them at artistfirst.com. And now your host, judge and author, the Honorable Judge Hubert.
God, thank you so very much. And to all of those of you out there in listening land, we are just glad to be with you tonight. It is certainly always a pleasure. We are, of course, we were out of place last month, but it was for a very good cause. And you're going to hear more about that in just a little while. But for those of you that are there in the listening audience, feel free to call a friend, invite them to come and listen in, particularly if they have this idea or interest or maybe even a dream of wanting to go to Africa, go to the motherland. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, how you can take that dream and make it into a reality. And so, as we always do here on this particular show, we always like to educate people. I come from a background that says that education is the key to being and staying free. And as one of my mentor friends used to always say, never go to bed as ignorant as you were when you got up this morning. Every day, you ought to learn something new. And so tonight, we believe you're going to share some with our guests who are very special and very close to me. We have developed a great relationship, and you're going to see through the course of our conversation tonight. And just grateful for this opportunity. A lot is going on in our country, a lot is going on in the world. There are a lot of different things that seem to be off cycle, off track, and yet, at the same time, I guess in the words of Dickens, it was the best of times and the worst of times. And so we're going to spend focus upon what would be the best of times. And so I want to welcome to the Judge Hubert Radio Hour tonight, none other than Mr. Maurice Cheetham, and of course,
yes,
Miss hi there, hey, and more affectionately known as Mo. And we're also going to welcome as well Miss Erica Locke Williams, who is with us tonight as well. And we're just glad to have both. Mo is a business owner. Erica is a professor, so I like to call her Professor Erica, just because of the closeness of the name. And of course, we know that we respect the work that she's doing, helping to impact the lives of young people. So without further ado, welcome to the Judge Hubert Radio Hour to both of you.
Aquaba.
Yes. And before the night is out, each of you out there in radio land will know the meaning of that wonderful word, aquaba. Very special word. And let me start maybe with Erica and talk about what we did here. Several months ago, it all started. This whole conversation started about going to Africa as a result of my law partner's son, who was graduating from high school. And roughly about a year ago, he told his dad, he said, "Dad, I would love to go to Africa for my graduation gift from high school." And, he and I talked about it. Of course, he talked about it with his wife, and then began to sow some seeds and began to reach out to people who could help make this possible. And I believe the first person outside of the immediate family connection that he reached out to was none other than Professor Erica. And so we're going to dispense with it. If you can, Erica, I'm so accustomed to calling you Erica, so please accept that tonight. Reached out to you to say, how do we look at going to Africa? He was aware that you had made that trip at some time past, and particularly to the country of Ghana. So, Erica, talk to us about how that unfolded.
Well, actually, your law partner, we have all a divine nine connections. So your law partner and my husband are actually frat brothers by Beta Sigma fraternity. And so they had been close, of course, for decades, all the way back to Florida State. And so I post a lot on social media. I post videos of my travels. And so we actually, my family, we went to Ghana in 2022. And so I guess, Chris had seen, our journey. And so that at that point, that's when he reached out to my husband and said, hey, y'all plan on going back to Ghana? And we was like, well, we might. And so he, was like, well, I want to go to Ghana. My son wants to go. But, we want to go with some people that's already been. So that's what got the ball rolling with this journey in 2024. But let me go back to 2022 and how we started on this journey in the first place. Of course, coming out of the pandemic, me personally, I just kind of felt unsettled about just everything that was going on in society, politics, the pandemic, and so forth. And even with my children, we're my husband and I are both educators, and the kids, we were home for a number of months and things like that. And I just wanted my children to be in an environment where it was just us. You see people that look like us every day. That was my goal. And of course, I've always wanted to go to Africa, so that started the ball rolling with regard to research. Now, my brother, who also went, he did do the African ancestry testing, and so the paternal side of my family actually goes back to the Igbo tribe, where most of the Igbos are in Nigeria. And so as I started to kind of research, and I must admit I am very Americanized. And so through my research, I saw that, really a great introduction to Africa would be through Ghana. And so researching that and doing more and more research, I learned that, when you go to places, certain places, it's always good to have a guide, a tour guide. And so I have been searching. And then my brother, who is also part of the Divine Nine, Omega Psi Phi, my brother said, look, I got a Facebook friend that's a bruh, and let me reach out to him. And so I guess Wendell sent Mo a message, and then we got the ball rolling from there.
All right.
So that's how we ended up going to Ghana in 2022. And, of course, for 2024, I reached out to Mo again. I said, hey, we coming back.
All right. Once again, that shows the power of networking and the power of the Divine Nine. Because it was interesting because I remember the first day when we first arrived, and we were all at breakfast, and we took a group photograph. And I think we had pretty good representation from across the board. We had deltas, we had omegas, we had sigmas, we had alpha. Let's see, who did we miss? I guess we missed a couple. But for the most part, that was part of the connection. It just also goes to show the importance of networking. And so many of you in the listening audience who, again, are expressing an interest in wanting to go to Africa. And I can say this, that Ghana was a very welcoming place from the time we landed at the airport all the way through to our visit, and of course all the way back into our return. And so those are the kind of things that are very important. And so you reached out to Mo, and of course, I guess it was Eusebius that had the connection with Mo through their fraternity. And so
no,
that was
my brother Wendell.
Oh, Wendell, okay.
My brother,
right.
yeah.
Now, show y'all how this connection is so amazing. When she's got a brother named Wendell, and I've got a brother named Wendell. So just some interesting kind of correlations there. And so after he reached out to you, Mo, what brought you into? How did you get to Ghana? Because you actually grew up in South Florida.
Yeah, well, correction. I actually grew up in Detroit, Michigan. I'm a Metro Detroiter, but my roots are in South Florida. My mother's from Naranja, born and raised. My grandmother has had a house in Perrine for over 50 years, so all my family's from South Florida.
Okay.
Me and Wendell have a bond where I'm a FAMU alumni. So as well as us being fraternity brothers, I graduated from the illustrious Florida A&M University. So we had a bond there as well.
All right. All right.
Yes,
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Which, of course, led to some other kind of, as we call it, some other jugging back and forth. Since
yes, sir.
I served as president of Bethune-Cookman, so that's a constant athletic rivalry. There's a lot of love that goes on beyond that weekend, but that the weekend of the Florida Classic football, there is no love between the two. So, but it's a great long-standing relationship that exists. But how did you end up getting involved with, in essence, setting up a travel and tour company there in Ghana?
Great question. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. My father's Ghanaian. My father's from Ghana, born and raised. My father migrated in the 70s to Worcester, Massachusetts. My mother looking for an opportunity to escape South Florida. I was South Dade County. Went to Job Corps and chose to go to Job Corps and break the cycle, and went to Job Corps in Worcester, Massachusetts, and met my father. My father's a hard worker, graduated with accounting degree from Worcester College in corporate America, rose the corporate ladder, and we settled in suburban Detroit. Growing up, I was influenced with Ghanaian heritage, Ghanaian language, and I thought the world of my father. He's a great man. I really looked up to him. But suffered a lot of ridicule. Being African, being Ghanaian. And not necessarily from a Caucasian community, but from my own brothers and sisters. So it's really something that I wasn't proud of. My mother and father got divorced when I was 12, and we moved away further from my father. And I started to put that in my back pocket. I didn't represent being African. I wanted no parts of it. Now my father couldn't necessarily show up at my games all the time. He wasn't in the house. And no one would know, really no one would even know, barely even when I went to FAMU, that I was Ghanaian. Because my father retired back in 2000 back to Ghana. So, we always talk. My father came and seen me. He still continued to be a great father, part of my life. My father asked me consistently, every year to come to Ghana, even sent tickets for me and my brother. And we didn't want to visit Ghana. We really wanted no part of it. Wasn't even interested in going. In 2014, my father passed. He passed in Ghana, and I had to come bury him within his native home. Uncles, seeing I'm part of a huge extended family. Seeing that my family come from the shores of Accra. Emotion as I buried my father, but also there was mixed emotions with that as well. Just dealing with that. I returned back, and it was just something that just was sitting right with me. Within those 2 years, I was in the States. I had to do a last visit. I came to do some estate issues. I think that might have been 2017. Make a long story short, to speed story up, I never left. It wasn't planned like that, but I just realized that I took extended vacation, and I just felt that Ghana was a place for me. I don't know, just led me there. My father calling me. At that time, never had any experience in travel and tour, but I was getting calls from FAMU alumni, college fraternity brothers, friends. People were in Ghana through the story I was sharing, and they could be free and ask the questions that they all want to ask. Is it terrorism? I get some Eric. Is it monkeys running around? Not to offend it.
Let me just say this part. Let me just say this to our listening audience. We know. Let me just tell you that Maurice is actually calling in from Ghana, from Accra, and so we may get a little. That's about 4-hour time difference. So he's up kind of late here for us to be able to do this, and we may have some signals, some telephone signals that kind of gets a little bit off track here every now and then. But just hang in there with us, folks, and you're going to hear this story real clear. So just continue on, my brother.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
So started hosting guests, and really engaged them in Ghana. One of the things became our strong points that we're connected to the community. My grandmother's house is in Accra, as y'all seen. My grandfather's house is in Accra. And we also really connect to the community through community programs. So that became our strong point, that we didn't do cookie cutter tours. We've blown into a full-blown destination tour management company. I would like to say we do more than tours. I would like to say that we're a concierge service. We're here for any and everything for you to enjoy Ghana and to connect with Ghana. So that's what we've done. We also have established, we want to make sure that our clients, because Ghana can be somewhat expensive, but we want to make sure that they know their money is going to support the community. So we also have a nonprofit program, the Africa STEM Academy, and that's where we immerse youth within STEM education and emerging technology, really trying to create a pathway for them to explore careers in STEM education and trying to do transformational, generational change that we're engaged in. So, yeah, I live in Ghana. Like I said, I love it. I do come back home, but I love being here. I love everything about Ghana. I love the mangoes, the pineapples, the people. That's my story overall.
Don't get me started about the food, my friend, because I thought I was going to probably pick up a few extra pounds while I was there, but I think because of the walking and the warmth that we had, even though it's very similar to what we got here in Florida, I think I lost a few. But it wasn't for lack of trying, because I enjoyed everything that I put in my mouth, and particularly, I don't know, I was really driven by the pineapples, by the plantains. Certainly by the peas and rice, the seafood, I mean, you name it. And it was so good, even by the baku. And some of you may not some people from Nigeria will know what we're talking about. It's like fufu. But it's a slightly different flavor, but Mo did a great job of putting us in places where we could eat, as they say, eat, drink, and be healthy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Talk about some of those kinds of things too. Talk about the foods. I mean, did you have to make a major transition when you moved over to Ghana from the food that you were accustomed to eating here in the States?
Great question, Judge. So, growing up, I had ate so much fufu, banku, jollof rice, ground nut soup that I stopped eating Ghanaian food. I was literally turned off. I ate fufu every day, literally, in the States. So I turned off eating it. Even when I went to FAMU, you would never hear me talk about Ghanaian food. But as I came back to the country, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with wache. I fell in love with contumbre stew. I fell in love with eating fresh cooked foods every day. That's what I liked. I liked it as a family. We got together and ate a meal in the compound. Obviously, I have an apartment. I have a house. But at my grandmother's house, I just enjoyed seeing the cooking every day and getting together and eating together. That was one of the strong points. There definitely is some spicy food, Judge, and as Erica knows, you have to be prepared for it. It's going to take you some time. Runs through your system a little bit, but once you adapt, there's nothing like it. It's nothing like it.
Yeah. I have to make, when we started talking about the food, I remember one day that one of your staff members was eating lunch, and he was actually eating some tilapia, and it was a whole tilapia. And I happened to say, well, man, he was telling me it was, spicy and it was good. So I decided to order the tilapia, and it had such a fresh taste that it just captivated me. I know that tilapia here is primarily farm raised, and, it doesn't have a taste to it. It's kind of flat unless you're frying it with some cornmeal or something. But I noticed that when we were there, that tilapia was so good. I guess you can call it that among everything else, man. The size of the shrimp, the prawns, the red snapper, the lobster. I remember on one night we were eating there at the Opera Safari, and they brought out a plate which was supposed to be for two people. It was a seafood platter. It ended up being, it took 4 people to eat that particular platter. That's the amount of food. So if anybody had a concern, say, well, are they going to feed us? Are they going to feed us enough food? No, there's no question about that. None whatsoever.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah.
Erica, having been to Ghana in 22, you sort of were our travel coordinator from this side, and you work with Mo to create the series of different activities and events And folks, I can tell you that it was about 15 of us on the journey, but I can also tell you that we weren't sitting around, laying around on the beaches or laying around a swimming pool. I think there might have been one day where we kind of did that, where we kind of chilled. But for the most, out of that 10-day journey, we were always and constantly on the move, going to different sites and locations. So, Erica, talk about how some of the choices of locations that you made are in conjunction with Mo for us.
Well, one of the reasons, besides our FAMU connection, Divine Nine connection with Mo, is just, keeping it real. Mo knows what we like as Americans.
Okay.
We like air conditioning. We like constant Wi-Fi. We going home. We going to the motherland, but we know what we like. And so Mo actually caters to the things that we like. So you're going to get Africa, but we going to have some air conditioning too. And so, just talking with Mo and of course I had researched the things that we wanted to do. And back in 2022, my family, we didn't get a chance to do everything we wanted to do just because there was just no time. And so this go around in 24, of course, we were able to do some things like go to Kumasi, which is some hours north of Accra. I think everybody was a little nervous when we went on Lake Bosomtwe, but I was like, we going on this lake. Jesus and his disciples might have built this boat, but we going on this lake, because that was like, that was the main reason I wanted to go back, that was the main reason I wanted to go back. And so Mo knew this, and I even asked Josh, who is Mo's vice president, with Lake Bosomtwe, and Mo, I didn't know that we were the first group that y'all, took to that lake. So I felt very special.
Tell our listeners exactly what's the distinction about that lake. Tell them the distinction about it.
You want to take it, Mo, or you want me to take it?
Oh, go ahead. I'll let you take it. You're rolling, so it's a guest client experience. I want you to discuss what you experienced. Yes, please.
Well, through my research, I had found out about Lake Bosomtwe, and that was a lake that's the only lake in the world that was built, or that was it was hit by a meteorite. So it was created. It's like a crater based, on it being hit by this meteorite. And then there are families that live along it, tribes that live around it. There are also some Americans that came in and built beautiful homes along this lake. And it was just something in me. I said, I want to just go and put my feet in this lake. Maybe I'll get some healing powers or something. But I was just determined to go to this lake. And when Josh called me, before the planning, probably maybe a couple of weeks, and he said, well, Erica, I went to the lake. It's going to be a rough ride, I said, let's do it,
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do it. Let's do it,
Yeah.
And so we made it down to the lake, and it was just beautiful. And again, the boat, it was kind of, we were a little nervous, on the boat, and we were a little nervous, but we went on the other side of the lake, and there's a hotel, and there was another little pub, and we ordered our food, and we came back over, and it was that made my trip itself. And so,
one of our friends said that, in fact, it was my partner Chris Mont. He said that the food at that particular restaurant was far better than what he expected, and he was talking about how tasty it was.
It was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was very fresh. I know they went and got our fish out Lake Bosomtwe right then. When we, oh, you want the fish? Okay, hold on, give me 5 minutes. So yeah, the food was great. Now, coming up with an itinerary, I didn't mind doing some of the things that we had done in 22, because some things, if you go to Ghana, there are some things you have to do, things you have to experience to really get a feel of it. And so, of course, we wanted to do those for, everyone that was coming along. Again, it was me and my brother, my sister, and my husband who were returning. So everyone else, it was their first time. And so as we're planning the trip, and I asked Mo and Josh about certain things, they just got our itinerary together. And I did explain to them, I said, now we old, so we need a day. We need a day to relax. We do need that. Yeah. But they make it so it is worth every penny. And you still might not be able to do everything. That's why we went back. You still may not be able to do everything, but, going over there, you get a sense of pride, a sense of compassion, and a sense of appreciation. And as I mentioned, I'm an educator, and I come from a line of educators, but it's some things that you have to realize. Going over there, you meet the people, their history is not the same as ours.
Yeah.
It's not the same. Yeah. But their perception, it comes together. If we're lucky enough to find out our roots, it may come together, but we got hundreds of years where our stories are different.
Yeah.
So, and just doing the from the dungeons, and we say dungeons, Mo taught us that. Some of them folks may call them castles, but they were dungeons for our people.
Yes.
And so going to visit those dungeons, and even going in, the different parts of it, it's heartfelt. The slave bath.
I agree.
Those are things you have to experience. And this time, we did the slave bath at night. And you doing things like that, that's the least I could do. That's the least.
Because if you don't mind, if I could add in.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm so glad, because Erica's so passionate about this. Erica is what this experience is all about. She supports our business so much and really speaks highly because she understands the connection. She talked about the slave dungeons. Never could you watch YouTube and get the true experience of what it is to be a Cape Coast Elmina slave dungeon. And you could actually feel the ancestors pulling at you when you're at these locations. We always like to talk about the door of no return. You hear that so much about the door of no return. But more importantly, what you don't hear about is as you exit the door of no return, which was the door that our ancestors exited out as free people and then became slaves. They were transported to the West. You don't hear about the door of return. And the door of return is more symbolic to me, and it's saying that you, as a free man, woman, and our clients travel all over the world. That's our target market. They have the ability to travel all over the world, and they have. That you chose to come to Ghana and honor your ancestors, their sacrifice, and walk back through that door of return as a free man and free woman to let them know that all they did was not in vain, and that that you stand on their shoulders. So we like to highlight things like that as well that you don't hear history talk about. And Erica and them are just so passionate about it. We love it. We just love it. So I'm sorry, Erica, please continue. I just want to add that.
Oh, no. I mean, that's definite. And it puts things in perspective. And I know she might, I'm sure I get a text. But the first time we went to the Elmina dungeon, and, we went out the door of return, and we were just kind of standing there. My sister, she whispered over to me. She said, I'm glad our people made it, because I don't know if I would have made it. She was like, I'm glad our people made it, because, because they were strong enough to make it.
Yes.
We exist. We exist. And it's a lot of folks who didn't make it. And those of us who really know ourselves, and those of us who are Americanized like myself, I probably wouldn't have made it. You know, and so
Erica, when you mentioned that,
we took. Mm-hmm.
No, I was only going to chime in that I remember one of the tour guides there, and I can't remember if it was at the site of the last bath or whether it was at the dungeon, and he said that some 60 million African brothers and sisters were enslaved, but only 12 million actually made it to the States, which means that's like 20%. And if so, we are the descendants of that 20%. And that just tells me that they had to be very strong when they were taken. And they said something like 600-700 miles journey barefoot that they were taken. And that was so emotional for me that it really pulled a lot out of me to hear that. And it just reminded me of the strength of our ancestors to be able to make it and to make it on that journey. Because even after they got to that dungeon and got on that slave ship, they still had to make it across that water for something like 3 months. And a lot of people didn't make it. A lot of ships didn't make it. So we are truly, to be here today, it was because our ancestors did make it, even though it was a horrible existence for them to get to this place.
Right. And don't think that, we go on this trip and it's nothing but sadness and crying and emotions. I mean, yeah, we have that. But Mo and African Roots Travel, they plan out our trip, so that there is a recovery time for what you just emotionally experienced. We did the dungeons, but then after that, we really, before and after that, we were engulfed in the culture, just embracing Ghanaian culture, Ghanaian life. But that's just a portion of our trip that really brings things, bring it home emotionally, and that's the part you experience. But it's not just that, we do experience the fun, the market, the hustle and bustle, and that's another thing. Oh, Ghanaians are resilient. We don't have anything on the hustle game. We don't have nothing on the hustle game. And the thing is, so here we see people that, of course you see people that here in the States that, they ask for money, put a sign up, give me money, this kind of thing. And God, I didn't see anybody just come up and ask me for money. You're going to get something in exchange for those CDs, So, but the hustle game is strong, but you appreciate it. You appreciate that people are just out there getting it, just trying to survive. Yeah. You appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I've been twice, and I want to go again. I got to convince my husband, I got to have a reason. But that's what I told you a couple of weeks ago. I would tell you, I got a good reason there. So, got a good reason.
And I would like to add, too, because Erica touched on a couple of key points. And the first one is that, these trips are generational, life-changing trips. So long, so many of us, even our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean, we've been at work and heard us talk about their culture and things they do, and it's been an absence. Now as adults, and Erica, thank you so much, she brought her kids the first trip, that now we can come home and learn our history. No one can tell it to us. We can say what we've seen, what we didn't observe, what we've seen in Africa, and what we didn't see in Africa, because it is a developing country. But now no one can tell you that there was monkeys running all over the street, that there was rabid dogs biting people, and there were people dying in the streets, because that's not the story. So now when you go back to work, when you go back to your church, when you go back and interact and engage in other communities, you can tell the story of your people. Never can someone say, well, I didn't see any civil war. What I seen was Muslims and Christians living next to each other. I didn't see any Al-Qaeda. I didn't see any Al-Habab. I seen safety. And then you can also talk about the points, because, we're not here to market Ghana as a perfect location, but you can also talk about the things that you did see that need work as well. So it's a powerful trip for us to talk about our homeland and our traditions. And then if you don't mind, just number two, Eric also touched on another thing. We try to make sure with our trips that we also get a chance for you to see the new Ghana. Ghana is building and it's rapidly building. There is wealth here. Let me be very clear. Massive wealth here. And that is in turn to all the Ghanaians who in the 70s who came to America and worked. They're retiring with old school 401ks, pensions. The kids are going to college. They're moving back. They're building houses. So there's a housing boom. There's a restaurant boom. You can go out and eat at great restaurants. You can go out and have glasses of wine. And if you want to pop a bottle and go dancing and listen to live music. So you also want to see the new Ghana and what it's going to become in the next 10 to 15 years. Because there are massive people who are coming and visiting and moving back. If you come on the flights here, they're packed. And we like to express to, all of our people, this is not the Back to Africa movement. We're not trying to force you to move back to Africa. What we are trying to do is have you come assess, learn about your history, your tradition, your culture, engage your people. Engage your people, because the Ghanaians need to be engaged. We both have things to teach each other. And most of all, build a bond with Africa through Ghana, because we got 53 other countries to go that we can visit. Ghana is just the gateway. So I just want to add that,
and speaking about the new Ghana, I found it interesting that I actually ran into and met one of my former law students there in Ghana at that beautiful hotel where we did the brunch on that Sunday. And it was just by happenstance. You had mentioned earlier about the generations, and we took your kids back in 22, and I was blessed that my daughter and I came together there for this time. Chris and his wife and daughter were there, wife and son, excuse me, Nicholas. They were there. And so you got a generational, that's just an example of the generational knowledge being shared. And then, like I said, to be able to meet other Americans, Black Americans who were there. I remember you introduced us to a young lady the first morning at breakfast who had moved. She came to Ghana for 2 weeks, she said, back in November, and she ended up staying. And she ended up helping to build her company's expansion. And she talked about how, everything was, she loves it there. And then I met other Black Americans. I met another guy that was a rattler. I met somebody else that was from Tampa. And so there were many people that are coming there. Some come for visits, and some decided they want to, make a more extended stay. And that was a welcoming experience for those who want to come. And I saw a number of people, like you said, there are Christians living right next door to Muslims. Nobody's getting on each other's nerves. Right? Hey, I think the only thing that was funny, I remember somebody said that what do you call the motorcycles and the little that's providing public transportation? What's the name that you guys?
The motorcycles are called Platters and the trotros. The van, transportation vans are called the trotros. Yes, sir.
Yes. There are quite a few of them, and man, I tell you, I was amazed at the traffic in Accra. But it just shows it's a growing capital, and it was busy. People were moving about, but it was also a very, I would say, a very spiritual country too, because on Sunday, the streets went pretty well kind of clear because everybody was at church on Sunday. Josh told us about how they honor those who are the ancestors, those who are the elders when they pass, and how they have these photographs built into big banners, and they use that, and they celebrate the lives of those individuals. And so it was for it to be a country that's built upon, as we might say, several different tribes or individuals, from around. It's amazing how they interface with one another, how there's just sort of a genuine appreciation and respect. And again, I have to echo, as Erica said about the resilience the resilience of the people, how they don't seem to let anything get them down. Don't ever let us see anything stop them. And that was evident in the work ethic that we observed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And of course, as you said earlier, we did have a lot of fun. We had fun at the restaurants and fun at a couple of the nightclubs, and we definitely had fun shopping too.
Yes. It's so interesting because we also get a chance to see the bonds that link our people and the history and traditions. And I like to also remind myself that so much in the summers I used to come down to South Florida in the early 80s. And I remember I used to enjoy going to the park and the community bonds in these communities from Miami, Liberty City, where everyone knew each other. And those are the same things that exist in these communities. It's the same thing as this when I used to love going down, because I was from the north of Detroit. I used to love going down to the park because everybody was at the park. I used to love the jams with the DJs and all of that. It's the same thing in these communities. And you can also see a bond from the Caribbean ties as well. It's bonds that we share that have been brought amongst the water. You see kids being raised where the whole community raises the kids. Everyone's auntie and uncle. He can walk down the street. He can walk 4 or 5 blocks and no one will touch him because he knows everyone on that block, and everyone is auntie and uncle. It's those things I used to just enjoy in the past, and specifically related to, for me, Dade County of South Florida. I see those bonds all day sitting under the tree, the extended family, aunties, grandmothers. And I also would like to speak about, I'm going a little bit of a tangent, is how liberal it is. Women are the cornerstone of Ghana. And to be very clear, it's a very free and liberal society where women are free to work, women are free to raise money. It reminds me of my grandmother who had 13 kids. And ain't no man never really been around. And she raised them. She was a strong woman, and she bought a house coming from Mississippi and settling down in Prime, Florida, Goose, Naranja. And you also see women here doing the same thing. The women in the market who are selling tomatoes to their sons and daughters to college. You see that strength, and we see where we get it from. It's definitely so many ways that you can connect. It's something here from everyone, for everyone.
Speaking about the women and their work ethic, I can't tell you how many women we saw with and I know I need whatever that is that they wear on top of their head, and then they put what we would call like a huge platter where it carries the particular products that they're marketing and selling. And just the fact that they had the ability to, they never dropped anything. They could walk with such dignity and respect and just their presence. And they would carry these items on their head, and going about the business of, as you said earlier, of selling whatever those goods might be. And that was also something that I thought was very, very amazing.
Yeah. The strength, as we see in the bloodlines, how we have made in America and what we've endured, obviously is to become professionals at our highest height. Just as like, Erica, Professor Erica, like you said, Professor Erica, we see where for generations as we've rose, we've matriculated and sent our kids to universities, went to universities and ascended. We see where we get that strength from and what it's built upon. I would also like to add too, but there's also a teaching aspect too. As African Americans come into Ghana, what we bring is a sense of Afrocentrism. We're very much educated on slavery. We're very much educated on colonialism and the effects it did. I don't want to make this a sense of ignorance, but a lot of Ghanaians are not educated on things that occurred in the effects that the transatlantic slave trade had or colonialism. We come here and we engage them and educate them because they're living every day. It's not chapters and chapters in their school book. We almost know more about slavery than they do. And to be very clear, and that's painful and it may seem almost ignorant, but they know it occurred, but they don't know the effects. So we educate them on Afrocentrism, on the strength of being African and the power it has to raise the country. But one of the things, and I think Eric and both you and Erica said as well, and you said as well, judges, they educate us on business development. There is no welfare system here. There's a family system here, but there's nothing if you don't have anything. But they're still out selling tomatoes. They're still out selling water. You have to get out and work. As I say, it's no credit. Is every building is built on cash. Every car is built on cash. So even though you see this little shanty brick that's put together, that young lady owns that plot. That young man owns that plot. They own their house. And we talk about the strength and resilience of a people, so they can teach us economic development in our communities. And once again, me being from Detroit, but I always like to reference South Florida, where back in the day we used to have a cookie lady. We used to have, those type things in the community. But we ain't go to 7-Eleven. We went to Miss Buck to get peanut butter cookies and get a fruit cup. And those things where we support inside our communities. Those are the same things that exist here, and we can learn something from that. Yeah. So just want to add that as well.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. And, some people have also given a false impression that Africa is an unchurched continent. And I can tell people based on what I saw from personal observation, there are churches. I almost want to use the phrase of there are churches almost on every corner. And there's every denomination.
But it is, Judge. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's like it is here. It's churches on every corner. And the churches sometimes look far more, I'm almost going to mess this phrase up, but the churches become the center of those communities. And even in the smaller communities, in the rural communities that we pass through. And I can tell you that people respect, and if every denomination that we have here in the States, those denominations exist there in Ghana. And people respect it. And in fact, I think there might even be more respect for the church there than there is here in the States.
Yeah,
I really believe that.
I truly agree with that. I truly agree with that. And we also like to, and Eric and I went to church as well. As we also like to let brothers and sisters know if they want to come fellowship, this is a very strong opportunity to fellowship. On the average, Ghanaians go to church 3 times. Wednesday Bible study, you know that, but Friday all-nighter. A lot of Ghanaians go to Friday all night. They leave at their house at 10 o'clock and they go pray all night at the church. And then, of course, they go Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a very strong faith here. Undeniable, undoubted faith, not even questioning anything here in Ghana. Yeah.
Wow.
The country's about 74%. Let me take that back. The country's about 82% Christian. I think that may give or take maybe 12 to 15% Muslim. 12 to 15% Muslim. 10 to 15% wavering, and then native religion. So religion is a cornerstone that runs the country. Be very clear about that Christianity.
And you all are also in the midst of the election campaign too, just like we are here in the States. When are your elections scheduled for?
Our elections are mirrored to the U.S. So our elections are in December too. Ghana is a free democratic country. We have 2 major parties, NDC and NPP. People are free to run for elections. It's freedom of press. It's very fierce, though. A lot of talking back and forth. Same thing. Parties are parties. I don't want to get into politics, Judge, but parties are parties that, here.
No, I was just saying it would just recognize the fact that that's a similarity of what we have here. Maybe even, I would say the parties there seem to be more, I don't know if it's a right way to say it, but I see a difference in what I see over here. I don't see the level of fighting and frustration that I see here in our states right now is what I saw.
Not at all. Definitely it's a freedom of the press. It's definitely intense elections, but it doesn't go overboard. And that's even leading to, when we had COVID here, the government was very strict on, we had sanitizer stations everywhere. You had to wear your mask or you were going to jail. Wasn't a choice. Wasn't a choice here. And that's why obviously we're not on the scale of the U.S. and didn't receive the names of international travelers. But COVID here was nowhere compared to what it was in the United States. We didn't have any deaths. It was nowhere near the threat.
if I could jump in with that, when we came in 2022, we had several people, you sure you want to go? It's during COVID because we had to provide, proof of the vaccine and all of that. And I said, shoot, Africa is probably one of the safest places to go because when they said put on your mask, they put on their mask. There was no protest.
No question.
So it was one of the safest places to go during that time. So I just wanted to make sure I say that.
And in fact, I think
one is a great point.
That's good. That's good. In fact, I think Josh pointed out to us that there were some natural medicinal remedies that were being used there to help conquer the virus that we didn't have over here in the States. So that's just another example that they are resilience is also in creativity. It's also in terms of how you take situations which might appear to be bad on the surface and turn it around for something good. So that again was impressive to me. Wow. This time is running quickly away from us. We've got maybe about another 6 or 7 minutes coming up, but I certainly would love to hear any particular. Let's give us your contact information so that those who are listening and got a pen, get your pen, folks, write it down. This audio will be available on our as a podcast within the next 24 to 48 hours. So, but let's go ahead and get Mo's contact information out there so that if there's anyone that wishes to talk with you, contact you directly to get your information, they want to come over. I've had some people that I've talked to since coming back that say, I want to go next time. I want to go. So how do they go? How do they get in contact with you?
I've already had,
thank you.
2 sets of cousins come, Mo? I've had 2 families come.
Well, no, way more than that. You said that so many people have come based off your trip. It's way past cousins.
And I heard you in talks with the other girl the other day. She called you the other day.
Ma'am.
So,
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just trying to figure out which trip I'm going to go on.
Well, you're welcome. You are elite. You Hall of Fame elite in our status. So you can come at 2 o'clock in the morning. We there to pick you up. So yeah, Judge, first of all, we welcome everybody to come to Ghana. We want you to come, meet the ancestors, engage the ancestors, and touch the land. So we'd like to say, being very transparent, whether you come with us or not, we're happy you're coming to Africa, and still contact us. Love to come meet you, love to come give you a hug. And if there's something not going right, reach out to us so we can lead you in the right direction, okay? I think we need to establish that bridge first. African Roots Travel. Obviously, you go on our website, www.africanrootstravel.com. You can reach me directly, Maurice Cheetham on WhatsApp. I prefer that. You can reach me at 233-59306-3779. I'll repeat that. 233-59306-3779. You can call me on WhatsApp. You can reach me by email, Mo, M-O-E, at African, A-F-R-I-C-A-N, Roots, R-O-O-T-S, travel.com. And you can reach out to us on our social media pages as well, from Facebook and Instagram, and also on YouTube under African Roots Travel / African Roots Travel. Okay, that's how you can get in touch with us. Through our STEM Academy site, if you're interested in what we're doing with STEM with the kids, you can go to our site at the Africa STEM Academy, A-F-R-I-C-A, STEM, S-T-E-M, academy.com. And that's, Judge, how you get to us. We're not hard to find, okay? Definitely not hard to find.
That's great. That's fantastic. All right. Well, Erica, any closing comments that you'd like to share?
Just that, if it's on your radar to do it, is it cheap? No. Do you really want to go cheap? No. So, we're average, as I said, we're average, folks, and we just saved, and even most companies, they have a payment plan. So if you plan accordingly, it is definitely doable. And then for those of you that got it like that, you can make it happen sooner than, some of us. Others will have to plan, but it is definitely a doable trip, and it is worth every dime and then some.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen to that. Yeah, certainly. We hope that you all will. Something that has been said here tonight will encourage you. I know that there are those of you out there that have been thinking about this, or maybe been dreaming about it, or even talking about it. You say, "Oh, I want to go to the motherland." Well, here is that opportunity, and it's someone that's going to take good care of you. I can assure you that if you use their services, African Roots Travel, they will take good care of you, and you're going to have some fun. Because Mo loves to dance now, and he likes to throw a day party every now and then to try to make sure you all have some fun. So, and of course we had the naming ceremony, which again was something that was really special to help us to show another level of connection with our African roots. And so, just give us your final words there, Mo, as we rapidly are running out of time here. I've enjoyed this conversation here tonight.
As I said, more than about African Roots Travel, it's about our brothers and sisters coming home to touch base with the continent and their roots, and honor their ancestors, and more importantly, gain a footholding of Ghana. 50% of the population is under 25. The world is coming to Ghana. It's not by fate. It's because they know it's something special. They know that there's something here. So we want you to be a part of that. We want to meet you. We want you to meet the community. We want you to engage. And it's not about coming back having to give anything special except for yourself. So once again, if you're coming to Ghana, whether you come with African Roots Travel or not, please send me a note. Maybe I might be able to meet you or give you a couple tips, okay? I really appreciate you, brothers and sisters, and especially appreciate my brother Judge Grimes and Erica just for all the support. Thank you.
I do see I got a couple minutes left here on this cycle. So I just want to point out, education is also very important to the Ghanaians. I was talking with one of your team members, and he stated that there were a large percentage of Ghanaians actually come to the United States for college, or they go to London and England for college experiences, but many of them are now returning home. And they stated to me that there's a big travel influx during the month of December, built around the Christmas holiday time, and that's a very busy time of season. So if you want to go and you want to get in on some of that types of activities and the fun that takes place during the Christmas holidays, that's a great time to go. And then just as we were leaving to come back, I saw where there was a group of young people from Ghana just won the global robotics competition, which also shows that the level of knowledge, the level of intellect is amazing. And these are young people we saw some stuff in Ghana that we don't have here in the States. And it's really because of the intellectual, technological developments that are taking place, and particularly with the young people. So, hey, look, great place to go, great place to grow, and a great place to be. So as we wrap up tonight, again, I want to thank both Maurice Cheetham, the owner, president, CEO of African Roots Travel, and Professor Erica Locke Williams out of South Florida, who has given us their time, their talent, and certainly their interest. And I hope that they said something to you tonight that will stimulate you to want to go visit. And who knows, some people are even moving and relocating to Ghana. It's a beautiful country, and we were truly, truly, truly blessed to be a part and to have that experience. And so it's just as we began the show, we always like to close it out. I hope that something that we have said to you during the course of this past hour has educated you so that you will not go to bed as ignorant as you were when you got up this morning. Ignorance is the absence of knowledge. But look here, we have shared with you many things tonight that we hope will be a blessing to you as you move forward. Continue to grow, my friends. Continue to love. And we look forward to being back with you again on the next edition of Judge Hubert Radio Hour. God bless each and every one of you. And again, Thank you to our special guest tonight, Maurice Cheetham and Professor Erica Locke. God bless you all, and good night.